Thank you. I don't know what else is left to say, but thank you, Professor Shukla, for putting up a very young picture of mine in the poster. So the day after I saw the poster, I actually went for a walk and I avoided mutton and chicken, but that was only for a day, as you can understand. And thank you very much also for calling me to this conference on social entrepreneurship. Most people will not call me that. Because I run a very stupid enterprise, you may say, which has no funding, which has no staff, but which is trying to demonstrate the power of volunteerism. Only volunteerism. What is possible only with that. And I'm very happy to be speaking here where I can see 20% of the people are already well-wishers and supporters who have supported us, and the rest 80 are going to be our supporters. So thank you very much. So basically, it's not the story of an organization. What I'm going to tell you is the story of our volunteers. As I said, that's all we are, as good as or as bad as our volunteers. So I would like to begin with a live film. There's no film really. There are 3 of our volunteers here. There are more here, but then I just invite 3 of our volunteers, Ananta, Shruti, Saurav, whoever comes. Just speak very briefly about what Bakul has been to you, and then I'll take it off from there. Anyone? Yeah. You know, why this collaborating? Why this madness? You know, why to do the way we are doing? You know, well, personally for me, I decided that I want to work for society because basically I'm a very lazy person, and I realized that the only way I can get over my laziness is when I work for a cause bigger than myself. So that is my selfish reason. Like, I can completely understand. You know, when Shweta said that a very selfish thing, it was a very selfish thing for me. But what really provoked me the most when I thought about, okay, you want to work for society, what do you want to really do? What do you really want to change? And what really bothered me the most, the cynicism that I saw in people like me. The cynicism that translated into, so what if I do it? So what if I don't litter the street? So what if I don't pay a bribe? What is going to happen? This obviously had to change. I mean, we cannot, it's going on in a vicious cycle. And I realized that this cynicism exists because most people think, bhai, hum Gandhi nahi ban sakte. We can only contribute in our own small ways, not necessarily financially, whatever, little time, 2 hours, 4 hours, we can only contribute in small ways. And we don't see how that small contribution can really make a big difference. So it's also convenient not to do anything, right? And so we thought that if this is to change, then how do we change it? The only way to change the cynicism then was to demonstrate what was possible with these small contributions. The power of volunteerism, what ordinary individuals can do with whatever they have. And that could only happen if it became like a movement, where you pull together a lot of these small contributions to demonstrate their impact. But there are 2 major challenges. We were starting in Orissa. A big challenge, of course, as most of you here would know, would be the trust deficit. Most people in Orissa think that NGOs sab chor hai. Right? Good, bad, why it is, I won't go into that, but that's a fact. That there's a huge trust deficit as far as NGOs are concerned. So, how will you mobilize people if they don't trust you? Is a big challenge. Right? The other challenge would be what I would call a trap of imagination. What I mean by this is, a lot of people think that change can happen only when someone invests millions. कोई बहुत कुछ देगा तभी कुछ हो सकता है. हम क्या कर सकते हैं? For instance, yesterday I could connect with Yasmin when she said that she first thought that she needs to be a politician to do something. Right? कि हमारे पास क्या है, क्या power है, क्या ये contribution से क्या हो सकता है? No. So we thought that these are challenges, and that is why, as a conscious decision, because of this trust deficit and because of this, what I would call an imagination trap. In fact, I could, it was nice when Sombhavi, he spoke yesterday, Akar Ventures, that being broke was the best thing that could happen, because that is how they could get innovative. But sometimes having a lot of money, stops your innovation there. And so we thought, if these are the challenges, we want to demonstrate the power of small contributions, the power of volunteers, what ordinary people can do, and these are challenges of trust and all. Let us try and see what is possible without funding. What is possible just by ordinary people coming together with whatever they have. Right? And of course, and what we also realized is that there were a lot of people who wanted to do things. I'm very happy about the first session yesterday. You know, like what Jagdish and Yasmin said, young people want to do a lot of things, but they need a little direction. Or as Shruti had said yesterday, opportunities to prove themselves. So we thought, why not we create something like that? Okay. So what we did what people like Ajay did. You know, Ajay yesterday talked about his story of they started a library where the young people got together and then they took up other initiatives. Our story was very similar. So we started a campaign to mobilize books. You know, we thought, how do we mobilize people? Kya kare? You know, and then we thought that maybe we can ask for money. People would not trust us. So debate about entrepreneurship, you know, that to start anything you need a lot of resource, you know, a lot of money or whatever. Yes and no. You know, I would probably say no. To start anything, you don't need money. You need resources. Now say, Ajay had to start a library. You know, he needed a place where he can have the books. He needed books. He would need people. Money is one single window solution to get those, but not necessarily the only thing. Okay, you need those resources, and the best way to mobilize resources is by mobilizing people. If people, you know, I mean, I was very much inspired by Obama's election campaign the first time, you know, where everyone who contributed, say, $10, $20, ended up campaigning for him. So, a thing that was similarly tried out by Aam Aadmi Party and others also now. So anyways, we started a library entirely with these small contributions, but it didn't come only with books. It came with artists, people came, they liked the idea, they got inspired, wow, you have collected the books, we will paint your walls. So we created a beautiful space, and it kept on adding. In fact, now it's considered one of the best children's libraries in the country with more than 15,000 books and a very eclectic collection of books. You know, I actually call it volunteer capitalism. Like capital has a tendency to attract more capital. You know, when people come to a library and they see that every book is donated, so every book actually mentions who has contributed. So with either directly contributed or bought with the money that is contributed, and they see that every book is contributed, I would like to contribute. Okay, or they see that everyone volunteers, I would like to volunteer. You know, so they get inspired. So completely, you know, volunteers need to be inspired. And the libraries for us work as an inspiration space, as a demonstration of the power of volunteerism and making people feel that I would like to be part of something beautiful like this. Now I will tell two stories. There was this boy from the slums who had come to a library, and the next day he came back with his books. So I was pretty surprised. I had not said anything to him that this is how we set up the library or whatever. He just came as a reader. But then this boy saw that every book mentioned someone had given it, and he thought that this wonderful resource is there for him because people have contributed, and he thought he must contribute. That is the first day, you know, it was in the first year of Bakul. I had tears in my eyes. I felt, kuch to kar rahe hain. Because the kind of work that we're trying to do, you know, changing mindsets, it's very difficult to measure. I don't really know how do we see the impact or whatever. He was pretty regular in our library, but he stopped coming after a point. He came back after a year. So I asked him that, you know, where were you? Apparently his father moved place, and so he had gone back to the village. But I asked, did you see your books there in the library? He had tears in his eyes because he had seen his name on the books and he felt proud. So I felt, you know, that okay, there's something probably we are not able to see what we're doing, but maybe something is going right. There was another boy, Harsh. His parents came one day and said, हमारा बेटा हमें परेशान कर दिया है, एक महीने से पीछे पड़ा हुआ है, क्या कर रहे हो अपने टाइम के साथ, टीवी देख रहे हो, 2 घंटे वॉलंटियर नहीं कर सकते? Now, I was surprised. So we had again not said anything to him, but he used to come to the library to read, but he used to see that everyone who works there, he could make out, he was intelligent enough to make out that ये यहाँ पे नौकरी नहीं कर रहे हैं, ये सब भैया लोग, दीदी लोग, ये सब volunteer कर रहे हैं, and he thought that his parents should be as cool as they are. Unfortunately, the boy stopped coming because his parents could not keep their commitment. Right? But I would like to say one thing. We are open to all. We don't really select volunteers. Volunteers drop out on their own. जिनके पास वो commitment नहीं है, वो last नहीं करेंगे. But we give everyone a chance. I know there's a risk there. There's a challenge there, but we would like to keep that space open to all. So the library came up beautifully. And one of the things I would like to say, we are very clear in our philosophy that we won't create a binary between us and them. The library, as the volunteers, everyone, it is for all. In fact, the libraries are one of the few places where actually children from different backgrounds come together.